FIFA Ultimate Team is more or less the exact same every single year, except EA make a few slight changes. And even though they are very slight changes, because I do thoroughly enjoy playing this game, it always gets me super excited. So here is 5 reasons you should be excited for FIFA 23 Ultimate Team. But before we do get into the video, if you want to hit the ground running by the time FIFA 23 is released, then I highly recommend checking out Mule Factory. Over there, you can get yourself some cheap, fast FIFA 23 coins, completely reliable, and if you use Fnatic5 at checkout, you'll also get yourself a 5% discount. Link can be found in the description down below. Getting back into the video, as things currently stand, it's way too soon to tell whether or not these changes are actually good changes, but from what has been announced so far, I think that they're going to be massive come the release of Ultimate Team, and that's why they're part of this video. So the first one, and the one that I am most excited for, is a complete overhaul to the chemistry system. Now for a lot of people it does sound confusing, that's just because we're used to the old way. We're used to the chemistry system that we've had since the very beginning. But I've always said with Ultimate Team, you can't create your Ultimate Team because of the chemistry system in place. If you did want to have Ronaldo and Mbappe up front on their maximum chemistry so that they are performing the best in game, you can't just put any random players around them. You then need to start thinking about links within the Premier League, with Man United or with Portugal, just so that you can get the chemistry so that they're playing at their very best. It would result in you needing to bring in a player like Messi to link to Mbappe, or a player like Bruno Fernandes to link to Ronaldo. And even though they're pretty decent players within game, it may not necessarily be the route that you want to take, especially when there could be so many more better players with all the promos that get released. The new chemistry system allows you to put whatever players you want. There is still chemistry in there, but you only really need it if you want to get player stats boosted, because everyone, even if they're on 0 chem, will be playing at least at their base attributes. This does mean for FIFA 23, with the example that I did just give, if you did want to have both Ronaldo and Mbappe up front, you can, and you don't need to link to other players around them. But if you did, you would be rewarded with extra boosted stats on those players as well as the players that they link to. And already this year, I'm starting to put together ideas for 2 different teams. One team that gets the maximum chemistry with very good players so that I can be competitive within division rivals as well as going through FUT champions. But the second team, and the team that I'm probably going to be playing with the most, is just going to be a fun team. It's likely that all players within this team will be on 0 chem, but it really doesn't matter because they're all going to be players that I would choose to be part of my Ultimate Team. It may take some time for me to build to the very best team possible, but I know I'm going to have fun doing so. The second reason to be excited is cross-platform gameplay. Now we did experience this within FIFA 22 as EA was starting to test it out, but within FIFA 23 it's taken to a whole nother level, including going over into Ultimate Team. Cross-platform this year will be based on the exact same generation of console. So for example, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC and Google Stadia will be able to play against each other, whereas PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are completely separate. If you don't want to go through cross-platform, you have the option to opt out within your settings, but more or less I think it will be a good thing. Depending on your location will depend on the matchmaking that you receive. Those of you that are in Europe, you have it pretty good, but for those of you out in America, there's certain periods or certain times of the year where it can be very difficult to find a game. This being based on your location as well as the amount of players playing within that location. There will be times, especially coming towards the end of the year, where if you went through FUT champions, because it is based on your record as well as your location, it can be a struggle to find a game. And if you do find a game, it's likely a player that you did play earlier within the exact same competition. This has been a complaint for years. With cross-platform, it doesn't 100% solve the issue. There will still be less players in certain locations than others, but it does certainly help. You're no longer restricted to just your platform, you are now able to play on other platforms if you choose to do so. If you're a PlayStation player, it's likely that you won't see too much of a difference because PlayStation tends to be the more popular console when it comes to playing Ultimate Team. It has always had 3, 4, maybe even 5 times as many live transfers as the likes of the second place being Xbox. But it will certainly help those that are Xbox, PC, or Google Stadia players. Especially on PC and Stadia, where you have next to no players overall, this will certainly help for you to find a game a lot quicker and be able to play different opponents, so you're not just playing the same person over and over again. And as you do have the option for crossplay when going through these matches, it also means that a lot of the game modes with their rewards are also crossplay. Everything this year is much more unified. Very similar to this, and this takes us on to reason number 3, is a shared transfer market. Now technically this still does fall under cross-play, but as someone that is a trader, of course a transfer market is going to be nice and going to be separate on the list. Every single year when I post a trading method for players to do, I record it on Xbox because that's the console that I prefer, and in the comments there's always someone asking whether or not this works on PlayStation. And because I haven't got FIFA on PlayStation, I can't test it, so all I can say is for them to test it. This year, this isn't a problem. The transfer market will combine PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Google Stadia, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, with PC and Nintendo Switch having their own separate transfer market. So there is still a slight problem for those that are playing PC. The trading methods that I show won't necessarily work with you, and it sucks for PC players because you have such a small amount of players playing on PC that there's so little on your transfer market that you're probably the guys that need it the most. But at least for PlayStation, Xbox, and Google Stadia, you guys will be able to have a shared transfer market. So whatever I do on my console, it doesn't really matter. It should still be working for you. And it will also lead to there being a lot more players available, giving it much more competitive price for each player that you look to buy into. The fourth reason to be excited is the new game mode. This, of course, is Foot Moments. Foot Moments are pretty much stories based on player careers, or maybe even something that happened over on the weekend. If it was enough to be something spectacular with an amazing free kick, maybe a comeback within the dying minutes of a game, you will be able to recreate it as part of content that EA pushes to the game, and you can play set minutes within that moment. It's not a full game, and it's more aimed at those that do want to play and progress through Ultimate Team, but you have a very limited amount of time. So you can't go through the likes of Division Rivals, Foot Champions, Squad Battles, Draft, because each of those games will take anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes. With the highlight, each of them will just be a couple minutes long. It may require you to score a penalty, score a free kick. Maybe on the 80th minute you're 2-0 down and you need to end up winning the game within the last 10 minutes. These are very quick, short challenges, and even though it's not something that I'll probably be grinding, I'm still excited for it because there are definitely moments where I do only have 5 or 10 minutes to play, but it's pointless of me doing anything because I can't go into a game. This way I will still be able to progress by going through Foot Moments and be able to get rewards out of it at the end in a very short amount of time. As this is a new game mode, I'm sort of expecting EA to really push this by bringing in some very good rewards, so players have an incentive to jump into it right at the beginning. We saw a very similar thing when squad builder challenges were first added back in FIFA 17. And the final reason for this video is we will be getting free DLC. Now technically EA has free DLC all the time on a week by week basis, with there being Team of the Weeks as well as other promos that we get on Friday. Those are added to the game at no cost to you. You just need to be extremely lucky to be able to pack one of these items, but at any point within the game you're able to buy into them if you build up enough coins. This somewhat technically counts as DLC, but what I'm really on about is of course the World Cup mode. EA holds the rights and licenses to host World Cup content. And this content isn't just speculation, it has already been confirmed. Now with this DLC, it's likely we're going to get something similar to what we had within FIFA 18. FIFA 18 also had some free DLC based around the World Cup. It added new game modes with kickoff game modes as well as head-to-heads, and there was also an Ultimate Team based around the World Cup. It had no transfer market and you would only be able to get players from packs, which you can buy from the store, or at the end of every game, instead of you getting coins for you to use on the transfer market, as there's no transfer market, instead you will be rewarded with a pack. And depending whether or not you won or lost that game will depend on the pack reward, as well as you can go on to win the tournament, which will then give you an even bigger reward. Now, this game mode typically doesn't last too long. It's normally just a hype of whilst the World Cup is going, but normally we used to get it towards the end of the year. This year, it's slightly different in that it's a lot earlier. We will be able to play this at some point within November, even though there is no official release date as of yet. And this will bring new DLC, which is entirely free to download, as well as you'll probably see this crossover into normal Ultimate Team, where you will be able to buy into different World Cup cards. But it doesn't just stop there. It also appears that we will also be getting a second World Cup mode towards the end of the year, for this being around the Women's World Cup, which starts in July of 2023. There has already been a number of rumors based around the content that will be included as part of this, but so far it is way too soon to say. All we know is that there will be something coming for both the Men's World Cup and the Women's World Cup. Anyway guys, here are 5 different reasons why you should be excited for FIFA 23 Ultimate Team. If there's a reason why you're hyped for this game, let me know in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going, so see ya.